All right, today we are seeing how do I add, subtract polynomials and classify polynomials.
Exactly. So we're going to try to define the difference between a monomial and a polynomial. It's pretty straightforward. A monomial, all that means it's a number or a product of numbers and variables, but the key here is, maybe Miss Boyd can highlight, they have whole number exponents.
All right.
Now, okay, we're talking about now.
Oh boy.
We're having fun highlighting today.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about now a polynomial. Well, a polynomial is a monomial, or a sum or difference of monomials. So what monomial means? One term. A polynomial is made up of, could be just one or more than one term. That's really the only difference. So let's look at some examples. If I scroll down here a little bit for you, here's some good examples of polynomials, straight across right there. But notice the ones where it says not polynomial, 3 to the x. The reason is x is right, and you need to have whole number exponents. You cannot have absolute value for it to be a polynomial. And y squared, I know you're saying to us, well, y squared, 2, that's a whole number. But however, it's really y to the negative 2, and negative 2 is not a whole number. And so forth. You can figure out the rest. Now, the degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables.
Okay, so say we had like x squared plus x to the 4th. That would be x to the 6th. So this would be it?
No.
No.
You're jumping a little ahead.
Got it.
Can you erase that for a minute? Because we're going to talk about the degree of a polynomial in a minute.
Oh.
We're talking about the degree of a monomial. So just write what you know what I want you to write right now, x up there.
Okay.
X cubed times x to the 6th. So guess what the degree of that's going to be?
9.
Correct.
So we add these.
Yes, you add the exponents.
6, we get 9. Got
Exactly.
It. So that's adding or subtracting.
You're right.
Got
So
it. Okay.
yeah, we're gonna. Miss Boyd was just trying to get ahead because you guys are so smart. She was just trying to move straight ahead to the polynomial. Okay, identify the degree of each monomial.
Well, this just has one thing, so this is 6.
That's it. Let's go to B.
This has nothing.
So it would be
to the 0 power.
So it's 0.
So 0.
And
ooh, x really has a 1 there when there's nothing there. So we do
1 plus 3 equals 4. And on the next one we have 2
Don't forget the 1.
1 plus 3.
So 2 plus 1 plus 3
is equal to 6. That's it. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Next page. Example 2, we're not quite there, so we have to talk about, we just talked about the degree of a monomial.
Yep.
Remember, a monomial is one term.
Okay.
Now we're going to find the degree of a polynomial.
Oh,
it's given by the term with the greatest degree.
So the highest one.
Right, so here's the steps.
Okay, so we don't add them this
Right, so to find the degree of a polynomial, number 1, you're going to write the polynomial in standard form. Then the degree of the first term is the degree of the polynomial.
So the highest degree is going to be your degree.
Exactly. That's okay.
Okay.
So.
And the leading coefficient goes with whichever one's the highest degree.
Exactly. Okay. Correct. So that's what we're talking about here. Now, a polynomial, now we're going to be naming polynomials here.
Okay.
They can be classified by its number of terms.
Okay.
A polynomial, so let's go over something. A polynomial with 2 terms is called a binomial. A polynomial with 3 terms is called a trinomial.
Got it.
So,
letters in front.
Right.
Bi is 2, tri is 3.
Correct. So we're going to classify polynomials based on the number of terms and the degree of the polynomial, both. And when we say 2 terms, 3 terms, what Miss Boyd and I mean is terms are separated by plus signs, like down here in the table.
So like an example could be like x squared plus x. That would be a binomial.
Right.
A trinomial would be like x to the 4th plus x squared plus 1.
That would be a trinomial.
Okay.
Correct. Right, I think we're ready to go to the next page. So it says, rewrite each polynomial in standard form.
Okay.
Then identify the leading coefficient, the degree, and the number of terms. And then we're going to name it. There's a lot going on here.
Okay.
So let's put it in.
Let's put it in order. And remember this negative goes along with it. So it's a negative 5x squared. And I'm putting that first because we have x squared. That's our highest degree. Then plus 4x plus 3.
Mhm.
All right, it's in order.
All right, so now let's identify right now the leading. So what I usually do, Miss Boyd, if you can see, I kind of separate them all out.
Mhm.
So leading coefficient is
So
going to be
that's
negative 5. The degree, and notice how Miss Boyd's writing it out. That's exactly what you should be doing when we go through examples or on the video question. The degree.
It's the highest number here, so it's 2.
2. You're not adding all of them because it's a polynomial, not a monomial. Number of terms.
Well, here's 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So 3.
Now, would you do me a favor?
Mhm.
I want you to write the word name and then a colon. And then this is the order they're going to look at when they're naming it.
Okay.
Number 1, write the word degree. And next to degree, write number of terms. That's how we name a polynomial.
Okay.
So the degree is 2, which is called quadratic. So we write quadratic.
And if you forgot, it's on that last page.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
And the number of terms, there's 3.
And
so
that's
it's
called a trinomial. Right. So that's why I did kind of forget to show them that table on the back page, but they will use that when classifying. We can go over that in class too. Should we do B?
Sure.
Okay.
So put it in order first. So to the 4th is our greatest. So 8x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 4. So we got to do all of our things. I'm going to call it the LC. Now that sounds like those common denominator. Never mind. So I'm just going to do
leading
I'll
coefficient.
just write it.
Okay.
I'll just call it leading coef.
That's fine.
All right, is 8.
Yep.
Because that's right there. Then we need our degree, which this time is 4, right here. Then number of terms. Well, again, we have just 3. So, because we have 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So now to name it, I'm going to name it by our degree, which is 4, so that's quartic.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. And again, we can always refer back to that table.
And 3 terms is a trinomial.
Quartic trinomial. Pretty straightforward.
Nice. This is actually pretty easy.
So should we save example 3 for class?
Let's save one.
Okay. Let's go to the next page. All right. So now we've named polynomials. We've identified the degree. So now we're going to go through how do you add or subtract polynomials. And notice it says you're combining like terms. Exactly. It says you can add or subtract horizontally or vertically. And so really what Miss Boyd and I like to do is I just kind of look at
what like terms.
Yeah, and I circle them or whatever.
And
should we color code it?
Yep, I was going to color code it. Since it's a plus, that means we don't have to distribute anything, so all of our numbers are going to stay the same.
Correct.
So now you can just go through and find like terms. So here I have a 2x to the 3rd, so I need to find any more thirds. Here's one. So 2x to the 3rd
plus
x
1
to the 3rd
right.
would give me
3x
to the 3rd.
Yep. And I like to cross them off, Miss Boyd, as
you're done.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one's done.
Now should we do?
Now I'm going to go in order. So now I'm going to go squared. So
Yeah.
here's a squared.
Yeah.
I don't see any more,
Nope.
so we'll just
plus
add it.
5x squared. Good.
That one's done.
Then x.
Now x. Here's a negative x and a 7x. So negative x and 7x is a 6x.
Good.
So those are done. And last but not least,
we have 9.
We have a 9
plus
and
a 4, which is 13. And guess what?
We're done.
We're done. That's it. Right. And if we wanted to name this for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we
look at the degree,
which is
3rd.
Right.
So that's what? Cubic.
Yeah.
And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4
So guess
terms.
what we do? This is why I wanted you to name this, okay? Because there was an example we skipped and they're going to need to know this for the video question. When there are more than 3 terms, then what you do is you say cubic, you say polynomial with 4 terms.
Okay.
If there was 5 terms, you'd say a polynomial with 5 terms.
Got it.
6 terms, 7 terms.
So there aren't real fancy names.
Nope, there's not any fancy names for that.
Okay.
All right, let's see example 5. I'd like to do this because of the negative.
Yeah,
now what I like to do
I like to
is
distribute it
the
right away.
minute you distribute it, I say drop all parentheses totally. even the front one. So I rewrite everything.
All right, so we're going to start with 3 minus 2x squared. And now we have a negative x squared, so minus x squared. We have a negative 6. And now a negative and a negative makes a plus x.
Exactly.
Now combine our like terms.
Perfect.
So we have a negative x squared and an x squared.
A negative
x squared.
2x squared and a negative x squared.
It's early.
That's okay.
All right. So a negative and a negative still is negative. So we have a negative 3
when we're adding
squared. Yep.
So we can cross
So
those off.
gone. All right. Then we'll go to our x's.
So
just
1.
So plus x. So that's gone.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 and a negative 6,
which is
a negative 3.
And for the fun of it, let's name it.
Oh, boy.
So the degree is a
squared.
So that's
it is
quadratic. And then how many terms do we have?
There are 3, so it's a trinomial.
And that's it. Exactly. Nice job.
Great.
Okay, let's see what's on the next page here. Now, because look what it says. Graph each polynomial function on a calculator.
Yeah, so
describe the graph and identify the number of real solutions. We're going to do all those in class. And look what we have. So let's see, make sure they're clear on these. So notice what you're going to do. You're going to rewrite that in standard form, identify the leading coefficient, the degree, and the number of terms, and name the polynomial. So choose what name it is based on A, B, C, or D. Number 2, you're going to add or subtract, and you're going to write your answer in standard form. I would definitely recommend...
Be careful, because there's a minus sign there.
Distribute the minus first.
Yeah.
And that's it. You do not have to name number 2.
No.
See you tomorrow.